involved. Hi to those 4 people if they can hear us. Can you send us a chat? Maybe they're just
Okay,
bots.
now we're live. Now we're live. There we go. Now we're live. Good, good, good. Hey guys, welcome back to the Adler podcast. Today is episode number 41. Today is our actual first live episode of the Adler podcast. Franco, there's some echo on your
Echo.
end.
Yep. I was seeing I'm seeing myself. I'm so excited.
How are you, Franco? How does it feel to
um,
be live?
yeah, it's interesting now. Let's see if other people will join us and let us. Hello, Trizien. Yeah, I'm going to be saying hello to all the people joining us as well.
Yeah.
Z- I hope it hasn't been a hell of a Monday for you too, guys. I mean, lots and lots of traffic this morning. I was surprised. 8 p.m. and the university parking is fully full as well. And what else? Yeah, I'm right now. We have a stand on campus for freshers. So if you want to come say hi, come over. And how about you? How has been your day?
Not bad so far, not bad so far. Monday is quite a relaxed day at work for me, thankfully, but then I have to pay for it on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. But it's good because I can prepare for the podcast today. So, in a way, I'll take the positives.
Ah,
As
okay,
in,
okay.
I can prepare for the podcast calmly at work today because I don't have too many lessons. And yeah, it is what it is. Because then Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at work are really tough.
The tough ones. Now, for it's going to be a tough week because there's quite. I was so overwhelmed this morning. Like so many people going around, so many stands. But anyhow, let me put this up on the prickly pears. If there are any pricklies in the chat, just say hi as
Yeah,
well.
I just shared it now, Franco. I just shared
All
it
right,
now.
all right,
I
okay.
just shared it now. Because
So,
today, to our viewers and listeners, we have a pretty special announcement because finally the Adler podcast is finally has a sponsor
po, 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 po.
because Embassy Cinemas are sponsoring. Hello, Daniel Yella. How's it
Hello.
going? Good to have the podcast.
Background.
That the podcast is very good as a background podcast.
Shana,
But
yeah.
as I was saying, finally we have a sponsor because the Adler podcast is now sponsored by Embassy Cinemas. Embassy Cinemas are very, very good cinema in Valletta. And let's have a look at what they will be showing this week. So, first movie we can see is The Nun 2, which will be showing from Monday till basically next Tuesday. Nun 2, which has been doing surprisingly really well in the box office. I believe it has made actually up to 231 million, which is pretty insane for a movie that was made on a shoestring budget, basically. The
So
Conjuring universe still doing really well.
it bet Oppenheimer. No way.
No, oh, no, 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 no. We're going to get to Oppenheimer very soon. We're going to
Okay.
get to Oppenheimer very soon. Next up, we've got A Haunting in Venice, a movie I watched at Embassy last week. Very good, very pretty decent, whodunit mystery with a bit of horror elements involved there. I had a good time, so I would recommend going to watch A Haunting in Venice. You know, it's a 1 hour 43-minute movie. And hello,
No,
Joe,
Joe.
joining us
Good evening.
during the sponsored section.
Oh,
Is
oops, continue.
is-sabiħ tal-live, is-sabiħ tal-live kif jgħidu bil-Malti.
Next up, we've got The Equalizer 3, which is another movie I got to watch in Embassy. Very good action movie. Denzel Washington is fantastic in it, so I highly recommend going to watch The Equalizer 3. And of course, we can't talk about cinemas without talking about Oppenheimer, which has now earned $933 million at the worldwide box office, which is pretty insane for a 3 hour long movie about
Yep.
a physicist developing a bomb, basically. And I mean, it seems like Barbie is concluding its run at Embassy Cinema this week. So you've got today and tomorrow. If you're still one of the few people in Malta who haven't watched Barbie, Barbie has now made 1.427 billion after its last weekend, which keeps on blowing my mind. I cannot comprehend these numbers. Like what happened there?
That's how much you make every episode of the podcast.
I wish. And we've also got Saw X, which is a movie I will definitely be going to watch this week because I have heard from many critics that it's actually one of the best, if not the best, after the first Saw movie.
Oh,
So
okay.
the critical reaction to Saw X has been very, very, very positive. Very, very positive sentiment so far. Cinema score of B, I believe, which is quite good for a Saw movie.
Very
And
decent.
on Rotten Tomatoes, it's in the 80s, I believe. So very good first reactions
Okay.
to Saw X.
Elon Musk has anything to do with it? No?
I don't know. And to conclude the movies at Embassy Cinema, we've got The Expendables 4, which is one for the action fans, starring Jason Statham, 50 Cent, Megan Fox, and Dolph Lundgren.
No, sorry. Expend Forbles, okay? The Expend Forbles.
Oh god. Yeah. Oh my god. Expend Forbles. Yeah. After the M3
M3 we have Expend Forbles.
So those are the movies you can catch at the Embassy Cinemas. Thank you to Embassy for sponsoring the Adler podcast. So that is our sponsored section done. Joe, how's it going?
I'm okay. I've just managed to get home slightly late, but I'm going to say just in time. I'm going to forgive myself.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine.
We forgive you.
Late. The important thing is Andrea forgives you, okay? Andrea is in charge here.
Wizard is never late, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to. Right, Joe?
Insomma, guys.
By the way, wave to Yella, because in London apparently it is raining. What a surprise.
The water is wet like this, and London is too.
Anyways, guys, shall we get into it? It's a live show, so obviously we have to be fast. There's no editing, Nive. So
you know what I was expecting? What I was expecting in the chat, like this one important question. What is the Adler podcast all about? But there's no one saying it on chat.
Very true. So the Adler podcast is all about movies, all about series, all about video games. This week, as always, we will be talking about what we've been up to in the past week. Then we've got some trailers. We've got the trailer for Blue Eye Samurai, which is an anime series coming out on Netflix. Another anime Netflix series is The Legend of Lara Croft. Then we've got Wish, which Franco already seems to be
has opinions.
Which is a Disney movie, by the way, animated Disney movie, starring Chris Pine and Ariana DeBose. We've got a trailer for Argyle, which I have some thoughts about as well. And finally, this really piqued my interest. I don't know what to expect out of it, but the Toxic Avenger remake. Trailer for that. And then we've got some news. We've got, obviously, news about the unfortunate loss of Michael Gambon. We're going to get into, obviously, the WGA and the agreements with AMPTP, get into the nitty-gritty of that agreement. We obviously mentioned it a little bit last week, but we still hadn't seen the whole kind of agreement. Now we know more or less what was agreed, what the WGA won, and so on and so forth. But I think overall, general first reactions were it's a positive, it's a good win for the WGA. Then, depending on the time, we'll see about the box office. We've already talked about it a little bit already. I saw this report by The Hollywood Reporter about the most popular streaming series in summer, which was quite an interesting read. We'll get into that if we have time. Something I definitely want to talk about as well in the news this week is the unfortunate demolishing of Joseph Kalea's house to make way for a guest house.
Just to be clear, it's Joseph Kalea, the actor, Hollywood actor, and singer, right? He was a singer as well. He happened to be a singer.
Starred in Algiers, amongst many other great movies.
Yeah, but like I told you, we don't have enough guest houses and boutiques, hotels in Malta.
I can't believe you mentioned it last week, motherfucker.
I told you. I mean, we are obsessed with boutiques, hotels.
We are. And then we've got some reviews. We've got a review, Joe, coming with his latest review for Ahsoka. Is that episode 7, Joe?
Yes.
Nice. Because now that we're live, the review comes out not when the next Ahsoka episode comes out. Since we usually used to record on Monday, like this time, and then release it on Wednesday. because editing and whatnot. But now it comes out on Monday, so it's good timing. So that's Ahsoka episode 7. By the way, Joe, is it 8 episodes in total?
I have no idea. I haven't checked.
I haven't been watching it because I'm still trying to recover on Rebels. So
If it's 8 episodes and with where it is so far, I will be annoyed.
boy,
Unless the last episode is going to be like a 3-hour feature film.
I've heard for sure it's longer than The Idol. For sure it's longer than The Idol.
I mean, that's not saying much.
It's already longer than The Idol. The Idol was 6 episodes.
Exactly. No, 4. No, not 4.
No, 5.
5, exactly.
Well,
Yeah, exactly.
one of them disappeared. Yeah.
HBO is like, yes, scrap this shit. So that's Ahsoka, and then I'll give my review for, I guess it's season 1 because it's a new iteration of Castlevania Nocturne, which I just finished 1 hour ago. I'll also give you my thoughts on the wonderful story of Henry Sugar and all those Roald Dahl shorts by Wes Anderson, and there's the Swan, the Red Catcher, and Poison. And then we'll get into The Creator, right, guys? Because we've all watched The Creator. Joe is cool.
Joe's cool. Hi, Copini.
Nice one. So The Creator, that will be our final review, and lots to discuss and say about The Creator. Very interesting movie, let's put it that way.
Yes.
So that is our plan for today, guys. I think we can get that all done and dusted in around an hour and a half.
And before we start, to all the people who are watching us live, and also to the people who will listen to us later and look at us later and see how Joe is cool, please do subscribe, leave a comment, and tell us what you have watched as well, if we should watch any movies as well. And yeah, we can continue to the next section.
And of course, now that we're live, leave your comments and thoughts live as we talk about all these different movies and series, because now we're going to get into what we've been up to this week. Joe, how has your week been? What have you been up to?
My week has been busy, just work-wise. In terms of watching, been very bad. I did manage to see The Creator. I did watch the episode of Ahsoka. I'm watching something. Yes, I am watching. I haven't mentioned Welcome to Wrexham as well. It's my nice wholesome show, which I can watch whilst eating lunch when I sometimes work from home. I really like it. It's just, especially for you, Andrea, if you're a big football fan, even if you're not a fan of football, just because the story they're creating with it, and given the fact that I work in professional sport, doing that kind of storytelling as well, it's great. It's fantastic what they've done with it. So I really enjoy watching that. There's, I think,
Joe,
6 episodes of season 2.
Isn't it the documentary
it's a documentary,
series,
right?
Yes. About everyone knows what Wrexham Football Club is. I think the club.
I played against Wrexham actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, the U team, Wrexham, coincidentally, in a tournament.
Right.
That's cool. But yeah, apart from that, just Ahsoka and The Creator. I guess it counts in terms of gaming. In fact, if T Copini, because I know who that is still listening, Tom, I've done a really bad thing. I did it with Julian and Zach, but Julian decided to get a PS5, so we all bought NBA 2K24.
No, no, Joe. Oh my God. How disappointing.
It is quite literally our crack cocaine. We're already extremely addicted to it. We already really hate it, but we also really want to play it. It's a terrible, terrible life decision for me, but it's one I've had to take.
Are we sure Joe is cool anymore now, Andrea?
Like Tom was definitely saying that as more of an insult than anything else.
Anyway.
So it's like my Call of Duty, I guess, right?
It's worse. It's so much worse. It's
worse?
It's the worst game on planet Earth. But I'm gonna.
Oh my!
You know what, Joe? Have you ever watched the Angry Joe rants on NBA, on all the NBA games?
I haven't. But I can only imagine, because every year it's the same game. For some reason, it's now the ugliest one that there's been in years.
My God.
I don't know what's happening. It's just disgusting. It's so ugly. Nothing looks good. There's obviously the predatory practices of you need to get VC in order to make your player better, and if you want to get VC by playing the game, it takes fucking 20 years. We already calculated, if with the players we've created that you start at rating 60, if we want to get up to rating 85, if we're making 1,000 VC per game that we play, we need to play 200 games in order to get up to 85.
Madonna.
No,
Which is it shouldn't be the case. But
So
you know,
it's,
we made our bed and we lie in it.
So it's no longer EA, it's EU, you know.
It's not even EA, it's 2K. They're even worse.
it's okay.
Ah, okay, 2K, okay.
Believe it or not,
Even
they're
worse
even
than
worse.
EA?
They are. They're definitely worse.
Okay.
They're definitely worse.
Oh, speaking of football games, has there been any like what was it? Pro Evolution Soccer?
No, that's
PS.
No.
That's
They
dead.
released the game. They released a new game, right, Joe? I believe last year.
yeah. They released like a free-to-play one.
A free-to-play one, but apparently it was like
It's just
bugs
gone-
and glitches.
Yeah, like
Horrific.
the rest of Konami's work, it has completely gone to shit.
Oh,
And it's a
God.
big pity because I remember Pro Evolution Soccer 6 being like my crack cocaine.
Oh, yeah,
basically.
that was one of the best like
was
football games
insane.
ever made.
Adriano shot power 99.
Back in the day on the PlayStation 2, I still remember the cover. You had like the yellowy orange cover.
But those were genuinely good games, like
Yeah.
genuinely good
They were-
sports games.
Despite the fact that you didn't have like all the licensed kits and stuff like that, they at least then they gave you tools to be able to create the kits. Basically, I remember like being obsessed with creating all of them. You can make your own boots as well, so it's like a fun, almost creative way.
And the
doing
Master League, was that the Master League?
Master League, yeah, Master League
Yeah,
was
that
the
was
best.
so good.
So
man.
good.
I'm so sad that I think they used the Master League as inspiration for something like Ultimate Team. I have a feeling that was part of the inspiration for it.
Maybe the Master League was. I still remember the players you could get. You'd get like the default players of the Master League. They were fantastic.
Yes.
In some matter, I like my DLC. I like my mini transactions in my games now.
Everyone likes them. 2K
Everyone.
love them.
Yeah, not microtransactions and mini transactions. I said as well.
What else, Joe? What have you been watching?
That's basically it. To be completely honest, I haven't watched much else apart from
Nice.
that stuff. I haven't had much time, to be completely honest.
All right.
Same
Franco,
here.
What about you?
Same here. Just the creator yesterday. Can I rant now? By the way, can I rant
Get into
and
it.
get
Get into it. So.
and get it over with? Okay, so basically, funny story. I paid for the show, for the 3 p.m. show, and somehow my mind was saying that I have to be there by 4. So I went. Unfortunately, now can we mention the other cinemas now since we are sponsored by Embassy? Or I think it's fine. No,
Better not.
better
Just
not.
mention you went to the
Oh, sorry, Franco ranting coming. So, the creator's not is being shown somewhere else, and I went there. That's my mistake. And actually, I have to say kudos to this staff because they told us, "Don't worry, go into the next show." Anyway, we go into the next show. We sit down, and the line behind us, they started talking from the trailers until the intermission, non-fucking stop. And one of the highlights of this conversation is just before the movie started. Listen, guys, what is this movie all about? Huh? Like, how in the fuck do you go in, buy a ticket, €9 ticket, which is, I don't think it's a joke. Go get your popcorn and whatnot, and not know which movie are you watching. Okay? And silver lining in all of this is they were enjoying the movie. Like, there were some moments they were like, "Hey, Lustia," and like this. But Jesus Christ, guys, one comment to comment, it's fine, but every like a running commentary, it's like leave that up to the what's his name, up to the director. And we already lost one because of my rant. Sorry. I stopped there now. maybe they were in the line behind us. That's what happened.
they were the ones.
They were the ones.
We found them. That's it.
That's it, guys. Just please don't talk during a movie. It's so annoying. It was the only line talking out of the whole. Almost, it wasn't. Unfortunately, I'm unhappy to say the creator wasn't much. There weren't many people watching it. We'll review it later. And again, once again I agree with Chris Stuckman. He had his reviews like. Go watch actually the review of Chris Tuckman as well, because I agree with many of the points that he said as well. But we'll
Alright.
get to the review at the end of the show.
Definitely. Now, in my case, I had a pretty active week. On was it Friday or no, Saturday? On Saturday, I went to watch. I went to the Manuel Theater. There was a musicals night, basically a number of musicals, different songs from different musicals. It was a really fun night. No, not too long, 1 hour 30 minutes, something like that. And that was really fun. It was very fun. So that's basically now I believe the theater season is opening on the 5th for Manuel Theater. So that was a really fun. That was a really fun night. I'm going to be honest. I'm not the biggest fan of musicals. My girlfriend loves musicals, but I don't mind watching them. Don't get me wrong. But I generally rather watch like a whole plot told through conversations, not through singing. But I don't mind watching them either. Like something like West Side Story, for example. I had a very good time watching it, or Hamilton, for example. Those were two good musicals I've watched recently. So that was my Saturday night. I watched Columbus, directed by Kagonada, and that was, oh boy, that was an experience. I loved it, absolutely loved it. I thought the camera work in that movie was insane. Like, just the aesthetics of it all was beautiful. Joe, like you said, I never knew I could care so much about architecture. Like, it's just a beautifully made movie. Musicals are life, by and there's the evidence. But yeah, Columbus was an absolutely insane movie. Beautiful. I thought even the way the two main protagonists, like the way they helped each other recover from a very difficult period in their lives, was beautifully done, beautifully written. Like, I'm honestly thinking of putting it possibly somewhere in my top 10 movies of all time, because I had just a really good time watching it. So that's number 2 of Kagonada that I absolutely adore. After, what was his first one with Colin Farrell? That was
After Young.
After Young.
Columbus was
Young.
Columbus was before.
Before,
Young.
yeah.
Columbus was before, but I hadn't watched it so far. I loved After Young. In fact, I put it in number 6, I think, or number 6 or 7 of that year. And I watched Columbus, and I think I actually liked Columbus more than After Young, to be honest.
It's true.
Beautifully made movie. So that's Columbus. Then basically the stuff. Franco, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say that's John Cho, right?
John Cho, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he's
Haley Lou Richardson.
he's underused, huh?
Yeah.
I feel like.
Definitely. And I was very impressed by the actress, the White Lotus actress,
Haley Lou Richardson.
Haley Lou Richardson.
Yeah. She was in After Young as well.
She was in it. What?
Yeah.
Oh, we have
remember.
2 more people. Hello, say hello to the 2 more people we have in the chat.
Honestly, Joe, do not remember her in After Young.
She was. I forgot her character's name, but she's in it.
Okay, all right. Good to see her. And has there? I don't think I've read about any new Kagonada movies, because man, I just.
No, After Young was pretty recent as well. She was
Yeah.
Ada in After Young.
Oh, okay. All right. So there's something about his pacing that just makes me feel good. Like,
Yeah.
like we said, Joe, it's cozy. Like, really.
It's fairly slow, but it's very soothing.
Yes, but
Okay.
I never lost my attention once. Never looked at my phone once. Never got distracted during both of those movies. So I think the pacing is right for me personally, of course, because everyone will have their own personal reaction to it. But for me personally, like, the pacing is perfect, like pitch perfect for that kind of movie, of course, for that kind of movie. So that's Columbus. I watched all of the Roald Dahl shorts on Netflix. That was a good time. Discussed them. Directed by Wes Anderson.
I didn't say anything, so
And the Creator, which we will review later on. Which means, guys, let us know in the comment section below. Let us know what you've been up to this week. What have you watched? Have you been playing anything as well? If you've been playing anything, let us know in the comment section below. I really haven't touched my computer at all this week, so barely played anything at all. Let us know in the comment section below. And now is the time for trailers. We're going to go through the trailers. And we're going to start off with trailer number 1, which looks pretty interesting. It's a Netflix anime series called The Blue Eye Samurai. Now, of course, we are live and we don't want Netflix to block us live. So, of course, I cannot show the whole trailer, but I will be showing clips from it here and there. But let's have a look at, first of all, what is Blue Eye Samurai? So we already knew that Netflix's original anime series Blue Eye Samurai was an ambitious undertaking for the streamer, but today at Drop 01, a trailer was unveiled and it showed that the series is a must-watch for fans of manga, animation, stunning visuals, or just the cinematic style in general. The story centers around a mixed-race sword master who sets out to avenge the death of her mother in ancient Japan. We've got a classic Japanese revenge story in which the protagonist spends years training to become the best at their craft. In Mizu's case, trouble is even greater since she's up against a highly misogynistic society of samurai in the Edo period. Anyways, you have to fight prejudice, patriarchy, and a whole slate of skilled enemies. So let's have a look at some clips.
Prejudice and patriarchy are skills now.
There we are.
Okay. Live.
So, I don't know if have you watched it, guys?
I saw the trailer.
I've not seen it yet. No.
Joe, it looks amazing. I think
It looks insane.
From the description, I'm pretty in so far, but we'll see.
and that
is it 3D animation?
no, I think it's a mixture.
No, mixture. Yeah.
It's a mixture.
I mean that.
Depends. I mean, Nimona was a mixture as well, and even recently,
I didn't see Nimona.
and even the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, no, that's probably like a full 3D animated movie from what I'm assuming, but I don't know. I don't normally like it when an anime has the 3D animation. I've been burnt by it before.
No. Are you thinking of what's his name? The Batman Ninja. Batman
No,
Ninja.
I'm thinking of the Blade Runner one.
Okay.
Which was shit.
But a lot of animes have been adding like 3D.
I know, but it's really hit and miss sometimes. Like when Attack on Titan started to do it, like at first it was really bad, then eventually it got good.
It got better.
But yeah, that's what I was going to mention. In fact, I haven't watched till like the final seasons. I'm still in the 2D period
2D
of
is so
Attack
good.
on Titan. But apparently, it's amazing. The last few seasons are beautiful. Really.
Yeah,
beautiful.
they managed to consolidate it, because sometimes Joe is right. The 3D and 2D is not consolidated. It's
a little jarring, right?
it has to be 2.5D almost, because even I saw it recently, because the other cinema might be showing Evangelion, and we have the animated, which she said this style reminds me of Dragon Prince, another Netflix show.
Well, I haven't watched that. I've seen it advertised on Netflix. Is it good, Yalla?
And
Dragon Prince. I don't know. This looks great, though. I don't know, Joe. What do
no,
you think?
I like it.
I'll need to like go watch it and like see it in like actual motion to like judge it fully. But I normally don't like the idea of 3D animation. These things. I'm happy to be proven wrong.
And
Because I love the Edo period in Japan. So.
And Star Wars did it too. Star Wars was also a bit of a hit or miss as well with the anime series that they did. That was on Disney Plus. No, but I think this looks. I mean, watch the trailer. I liked it, and I'm really. And it's one reason, like spoiler alert, why when I saw Wish, is it a good segue? By the way, Andrea.
Because we had another Netflix series, but I mean, we can segue to Wish if you want, and then go to Lara Croft after.
No, let's go to Lara Croft first, because both of them, like when I saw Wish, I'm like, why is Disney going this way still?
So that's trailer number 1. We've got trailer number 2 with Tomb Raider, The Legend of Lara Croft, and Joe brought this to my attention. It's a very, very, very interesting anime. Another one. Lara Croft swings her way into the Netflix catalog in 2024.
By the way, Yella said that she really liked it. I think Dragon Prince, but the last season was a bit meh. It's a high fantasy show about lost and dragons.
Nice. Sounds like my kind of show. But I'll just skip the last season then.
Yes. They have on the credits, made for Andrea Gravina.
Especially now I finished. What's it called? Now I finished Castlevania. Although I mean I finished it in like a couple of days, so that's
Yeah.
not saying much. It's not like it took up too much of my time. Anyways, Lara Croft. While the future of Lara Croft in cinema continues to be a blurry subject, one that I think we had discussed quite a few months ago, fans of the Tomb Raider franchise won't be left hanging. Netflix unveiled today the first teaser trailer and title reveal of Tomb Raider: The Legend of Lara Croft. The animated series will center around the famous adventurer as she explores uncharted territory in search of legendary items. Teaser immediately throws protagonist Lara Croft into a massive crater as she searches a cave for an artifact that apparently isn't there. Just like in the video game series, the series will have adventure and supernatural elements which will blend as Lara unveils spells, curses, and legends across her journey. It also hints at Lara being at a low point of her life since her group of friends and found family apparently is in dire straits, or maybe not even alive. Let's have a look at another one of Netflix's anime series, which is Tomb Raider: The Legend of Lara Croft. Joe, you brought this to my attention. What were your thoughts about it?
I had no idea that this was like ever going to be a thing. I think as far as like Tomb Raider adaptations, this is probably the best way to do it, which like isn't too jarring. The thing I'm like happiest about is that it's Haley Atwell voicing, because she's been like my one that I've wanted to play a live action
Ooh.
Lara Croft from the beginning. Like, I'm okay, not from the beginning. When the Angelina Jolie movies came out, I didn't have a proper functioning adult brain. But like when they announced the reboot and it was Alicia Vikander, I was like, this is Haley Atwell right there, who's like actually British and like looks and sounds exactly like Lara Croft.
Swedish cultural appropriation. That's what.
Yes, that's what it was. But yeah, I like that it's going for a much more traditional anime look as well, with that sweet 2D animation. So I hope it's good. Like I grew up playing the Tomb Raider games, so
Yeah, same here.
Dude, when you said Haley Atwell, I picture her as like that is bang on the buck.
yep.
So any producers listening on the show,
I take full credit and I want royalties if you do.
Yeah, exactly. Residuals, please. No,
What do
I
you
have.
think, Franco?
I might check it out as well. I'm like, I feel Netflix. This is a Netflix animation as well, or
I believe so. Yes, I
they're
believe so.
they're on top of their game. Yes, the few
With regards
episodes.
to animation,
Yes, even the few episodes I saw of Castlevania, I was pretty impressed. And
and Nimona as well, for example. I mean, although to be fair, they didn't do Nimona; they just released it. I believe.
released on Netflix. And yeah, it's like even the voice cast, like Haley Atwell, and who was I forgot, there was another big name in Castlevania.
In Castlevania, there's Richard Dormer. It's a pretty big cast.
Yeah, like to get these Phoebe Waller-Bridge as well. What do you mean this one?
No, Phoebe Waller-Bridge is taking care of the live action. No, though, that's on Amazon. Though
Oh,
I don't know.
really?
I don't know how that works. Because obviously Phoebe Waller-Bridge is taking care of the live action Tomb Raider, and this is coming out on Netflix, which is weird. I don't know what's happening with the licensing there, but yeah, that's a live action series with Phoebe
Okay,
Waller-Bridge.
that's
That's on
interesting.
Prime.
Do we need two? Like Jesus.
Everyone's got to make their money.
I guess.
You know, Jeff Bezos after the divorce, he's a bit in dire straits as well.
Mhm.
Like
No,
like Tomb Raider's family.
Anyways, so Franco, this is the segue you wanted, because having looked at these two I'm going to say it, just very beautiful animated series, that leads us on to a Disney trailer for the movie Wish, which is set to be released on November 22nd. Now, Disney fans have a new look at the studio's next animated film. Walt Disney Animation Studios has released a new trailer for the upcoming movie Wish. Film stars the voices of Ariana DeBose and Chris Pine. It's scheduled to be released in theaters on November 22nd. In it, we learn more about Rosas, a magical kingdom ruled by King Magnifico, who is Chris Pine. King Magnifico has the
Magnifico.
ability to grant the wishes of the people in the kingdom. Trailer also reads that Asha, obviously Ariana DeBose, works for the king as his apprentice. And obviously, then we start to find out a bit more. I think, to be honest, the trailer gives a bit too much. So luckily for our viewers and listeners, I won't play the whole thing again because I don't want Disney to block
DCMS.
our podcast. Stop it there because I can already smell the Disney execs.
No, they just
Pressing.
left. They just left. We had 2 people and they just left. Most probably they were the Disney. They don't want to
They were,
hear
yeah.
the rant.
Pressing the button, the red button. Anyway, so guys, I don't know if you've watched it. I know, Franco, you've watched it. And you stopped it midway through. Why?
Look, we've had, I think, following Spider-Man, and we've seen also like the 2 other trailers of the animation coming out, and Nimona as well. I don't. This looks. I don't know why Disney is like. I feel here, especially in this still, it's like they're not going fully into that kind of interesting mixture of 2D and 3D.
Oh, Pixar never do 2D.
No, but this is Walt Disney Animations, not
This is
Pixar.
Disney,
This
though.
is Walt Disney Animations.
Walt Disney
Yes,
Animations,
yes.
Oh, that makes it weird.
It's weird, eh?
It's and because Pixar at least they go full. If they're going to go full 3D, they go full 3D. And there was an interesting again shout out Corridor Crew. They did show an interesting short by a Pixar animator, which used that kind of line drawing mixed with 3D as well. This is just, I don't know, it didn't do it for me. It's like after we've seen so much ground being broken in animation that for Disney to go for this really feels like they're really playing the safe game. I don't know. I mean, actually, we should ask the animator that we have in the chat what she thinks as well.
Oh, Yella.
Yella.
What are your thoughts on this trailer? Like comparing it to the quality of what we've seen from the Tomb Raider series and obviously from the Samurai anime series. What do you think?
It's reminding me of Tangled. I don't know if it's in the same universe.
I don't think. No, I think it's
Tangled was it? I believe Tangled was Pixar, but this kind of looks like Pixar trying to do something more realistic. That's what the kind of style looks like, and it's trying to look somewhat hand drawn to me. I don't know. I could be just saying nonsense right now,
Well,
but
maybe
it definitely looks weird.
It looks like a weird mixture, right? It's
okay.
I don't know. I'm having a quick look, guys, at the most recent Disney, like pure Disney animated series, not obviously Pixar. We last had Encanto, which I'd say was quite a hit.
Oh, I liked Encanto.
I liked Encanto as well. Didn't love it, but I liked it. Raya and the Last Dragon. Did you watch it, guys?
Yeah, I like that one as well.
It was good. I liked it. I enjoyed watching it. Frozen 2. I liked Frozen 1. Frozen 2, I never
watched Frozen
around
2.
to watching it. Ralph Breaks the Internet, which was fine. Moana, which was fine. Zootopia, fun. Those are the last few. So most of them, I had quite positive reactions to them. I think.
Yella commented, like she said, yeah, it's playing it safe, in my opinion. And they're using the recent house style.
House style. All right, fair enough. Okay. Interesting.
Creators of Frozen, so makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, it's like a mix. It's a weird mixture of the two, but it's not like the mixture that we see in something like, for example, the Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse movies, where that's like a real like mixture, really bold mixture of 100 different animation styles. Like looking, like to think how advanced that quality of animation is when comparing it to something. I'm not going to say this looks ugly. It doesn't look ugly, but it does look a little bland, right? When you compare the two,
something is off. And actually, I don't know if they. Hopefully, I see if Corridor Crew will react to this animation style as well.
Yeah. We'll see. Joe, I don't know if you want to add anything else to this.
No.
Can you zoom up again? And this I've got to make safe characters to turn into merch. The mouse cackles in the distance. Can you put it on? I'm trying to see also the background characters, like even the background characters. You just saw a chicken, someone turn into a chicken. There's no reaction in the background characters. If you notice,
guy who has his mouth open.
Yeah, but all the other characters are like NPCs, like Starfield NPCs.
Yeah, Starfield NPCs. That's the right description. Got to make safe characters to turn into merch. The mouse cackles in the distance. Ah, true. Very, very safe characters. Very safe.
That's how the mouse goes. So,
And considering you've got Ariana DeBose voicing, I mean, there is space for creativity there, I believe. Anyways, next trailer, we can go through these last two really quickly. We've got trailer for Argyle. Now, this is a weird one, guys.
yep.
This is a very weird one. I had just seen just one shot of Henry Cavill and Dua Lipa, and my attention was piqued when I saw that one screenshot. I don't know if it was this one. I think it was this one. Henry Cavill.
That hairstyle though, sorry.
Fucking ridiculous. It's like he's trying to be like a James Bond Duke Nukem.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, Duke
And
Nukem.
Henry Cavill really wants to star in a James Bond movie. Yes.
I mean, guys, he would fit the parts.
No, he would, especially in a Christopher Nolan.
James Bond. Oh
movie
my
starring Henry
god!
Cavill.
This is going to be controversial, but I'd prefer someone with actual range.
Idris Elba.
Oh, it's not.
Actually,
not-
I've got my Bond pick, and it's not Idris Elba. I've got a controversial one for you. Dev Patel.
Oh. Dev Patel.
I love Dev Patel. I don't know if I see it.
Oh,
I back it fully. That or
James
if
Bond.
that or not Idris Elba, John Boyega.
I don't know.
Give me young Bond. I don't care about old Bond.
it's interesting. It's interesting.
Aaron Taylor Johnson's going to get it anyway. Like
Yes. That was going to be my say. I mean,
Yeah,
his performance in Bullet Train was a very obvious.
was very
like,
good one. Yeah, it was very good one.
I'm ready for the Bond role.
he's also Craven the Hunter though. So
Yeah.
we haven't seen that movie yet. Maybe it's the best movie ever made.
So,
we don't
so,
know.
yeah. Maybe it's Craven time, you know.
It's Craven time.
Yeah.
Oh god, that's not a good sign. Anyways, Argyle, a new epic action adventure, is right around the corner with the release of the first trailer for Argyle, Matthew Vaughn's latest off-the-rails film. Bryce Dallas Howard stars as Ellie Conway, a reclusive author of a best-selling espionage novel series whose quiet, blissful existence with her cat Alfie goes sideways fast when the plots of Ellie's books, which center around the titular secret agent Argyle, begin to mirror a real-life spy organization. She gets pulled headfirst into real danger and spy intrigue. Now, like I said, I had just seen that shot, right? And I was like, this looks interesting.
And then
When I watched the trailer and saw this, I'm like, oh my god,
what's
they're doing
happening?
this again, again. Like recently, there was a movie, like not recently, like a year or two ago,
with
there was
Sandra
once
with Sandra Bullock.
Yeah. I'm like, isn't that the exact same plot?
You know what? You know what he's reminding me actually, Henry Cavill, Paul from Tekken. Tell me if it's not Paul from Tekken. That's not James Bond.
It needs to be a bit longer, but otherwise,
Yes, it's the same. Like, boop, choom. I mean,
to be fair,
this was a cool
Dua
shot.
Lipa.
Huh?
Yes, this was a cool shot. And Dua Lipa, 33, she looks great. So
Yeah.
she looks great in this. I don't know. I'm not convinced. Some of the CGI, Frank, I'm sure. I don't know if you watched it.
Oh, the cat, man! That freaking
very
cat.
wonky.
Oof.
Yeah, that's the final shot, I believe. with the cat
Madonna,
flying in the air.
the cat flying in. Come on, please.
Yeah, this looks really bad.
Oh,
I think, Joe, they're trying to do a Stray because they're really, really like advertising and focusing on the cat
I know.
a
And
lot.
then I bet the cat will have like 2 major scenes in the film.
and that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Strays was actually good.
Stray. I didn't watch Strays, to be fair.
Okay, I didn't see it
So
straight
I
either.
don't know. I don't like the look of this at all. I
No,
don't
even
know
look at that
why
freaking explosion.
I don't know why the fuck Matthew Vaughn, whoever, I don't know if he's the person that chooses like what goes on his trailers, but change your fucking font and the color. It has been the same since the first
Since
Kingsman.
Kingsman.
Move on.
I recognize.
It's exactly the same. And to me, this looks like, even though I don't, it's Universal, so it's not going straight to Netflix. I imagine this looks like straight to Netflix bullshit. I really don't like the look of this.
Yeah, yes. The lighting right
Again,
now
like
is...
I believe it's Apple. I believe
Apple,
this
it
is
says
Apple.
Universal up there,
it's Universal. I mean,
like by the thing. And what annoys me about it as well is that there's some people that I really, really like in this film, like mainly Sam Rockwell, who hasn't been in a movie, at least to my knowledge, that I've actually seen for ages. He had that silly like whodunit, See How They Run, which I didn't even bother to watch with Saoirse Ronan. But he's someone that like usually I love in films. I really like John Cena as well. Like I just admittedly I really like him. But I don't want to see them in this
scene is funny.
spy film, which looks like it is Kingsman light, basically.
Yeah.
have you seen? I think you've seen Dangerous Mind. What was it?
Confessions of a Dangerous Mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yes.
He was so great in it. Sam Rockwell.
He's
Sam
a
Rockwell.
fantastic actor.
Sam Rockwell is a fantastic actor. Yeah.
Fantastic actor. Why is he wasting his time on shit like this and See How They Run? Then again, I'm just speaking about the trailer here. This could be the best movie ever made. That's going to be.
I mean, with the action sequences with Sam Rockwell, they look decent enough. Huh? But
Matthew Vaughn makes okay action. It's all very like overly pulpy, and usually he's got a weird thing for gore as well, which just feels like it. At least whenever like, if you guys have watched the Kingsman movies, whenever he went for gore in that, I was like, this feels really out of place in a movie like this.
Even the first one. Even the first one.
One.
I mean, it was.
Like, why is there this level of gore 40 minutes into this film, when this just feels like a fun kind of take on the spy genre?
I really like Kingsman. I think I'm going to be honest. I think I actually loved the first Kingsman. The second one was a little weird, a little off. The first one I loved. I actually loved.
No, the first one I loved.
Really had a good time.
I couldn't say I loved it or even liked it that much, but it was like, it at least felt like this is at least a fresh take on the spy genre, which was very stale by that time.
Fair enough. And there were some very iconic scenes.
The church scene, for example,
or the pub scene.
Like I was saying, the big action that he does. The big action that he does, he definitely choreographs it well. Samuel L. Jackson's character in that first film made me want to like kill myself, though. It was just grating. It was so stupid.
True. No, that's true. Fair enough.
But
that's Argyle. Sorry, Franco.
Did Matthew Vaughn also direct the X-Men First Class?
I believe so. You might be right there.
X-Men First Class, and also the second, because those were good. I think I like those movies as well. I felt that they're quite decent.
I think I only saw First Class of those, but
we can check quickly. So
Matthew Vaughn.
Matthew Vaughn.
Yeah,
okay.
all right.
I mean, because those movies where if he's giving good material, he can hold his own.
Yeah, but literally since X-Men Days of Future Past, he's literally just done Kingsman movies, and this looks like just another Kingsman.
Yeah, it's a very derivative of a Kingsman movie. Yeah, I have to say.
Same font and everything, you know.
Anyways, moving on to the last trailer before we get to the news, and we've got a trailer for the Toxic Avenger, which I'm going to be honest, looks. Why do we have Dunkirk here? Which looks pretty interesting. Definitely very brutal. The new Red Band trailer for The Toxic Avenger has been released as a reboot of the cult classic black comedy film directed by Michael Hertz and Lloyd Kaufman. 2023 R-rated reboot is directed by Macon Blair. And produced by the original creators, Kaufman and Hertz themselves. Peter Dinklage, who stars as the protagonist, Winston Goose, is all set to pay back all his debts by gruesomely slicing his enemies, but instead of a wronged Lannister, audiences should be ready for a wronged, monstrous, and toxic superhero this time around. Guys, have you watched the original? I have not. I have not, pretty much.
I haven't either. No.
Nothing, but I have watched this trailer.
I do know quite a bit like about like what makes the original like what it is, and the and Trauma that produced it as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what can you tell us, Joe, about
it? So Trauma, they were this production company, like the kind of horror films they would make. They were extremely tongue-in-cheek. They were like almost parody. They were farcical in a way, which a lot of people seem to be. I haven't seen this trailer, so I can't say, but a lot of people seem to be upset that like this movie doesn't seem to be that. so
Mm,
far, at least. But then again, the original producers are working on this. Maybe it's trying to bring it into a modern age. I know that the Toxic Avenger has like a huge cult fan base. Personally, I'm a very big fan of Macon Blair. I have been
yeah,
ever since I saw him in the Jeremy Saulnier film Blue Ruin.
Blue Ruin. He was
And
also in. He was the lawyer of in
in
Oppenheimer.
as well.
Yeah.
He's had a couple of parts throughout the years. He was also in Saulnier's Green Room as well. Fantastic film.
Oh God, so good. Yes.
But I like the kind of like artistic direction he was going, and I liked his first directorial film, which was I Don't Feel at Home in This World Anymore. I thought
Oh,
it
with
was a
the
very interesting take on like sort of a revenge, home invasion, almost parody kind of thing. Elijah Wood was in it as well.
So
Okay.
they're a team here. Yeah.
Franco, what do you think?
It looks interesting enough. I haven't watched the originals. The originals have a special place in many people's hearts. Who knows? But I agree with Joe as well. This seems like it's going to be updated to the modern, especially the first few moments with all that chaotic like analog and
Yeah.
it seems to be like a sort of an update on. This is like a Tim and Derek would direct it almost. I would say.
To be fair, all critics that have seen it so far have given it very positive reviews.
Yeah. So.
I know it means nothing, but it's sitting at a 96.
Sorry, I just noticed Fearless Freak Feast Family from Fire Inferno. Oh my god!
Oh my god!
that's a alliteration, if there's one.
It had its world premiere at Fantastic Fest. Okay, but no release date so far. Interesting. So it looks like an interesting one. I think it's worth to put the originals in my Letterboxd watch list.
True.
And check them out before this comes out.
There's Kevin Bacon as well. So
there is? Oh, of course, there's Kevin Bacon. All right. So, viewers and listeners, let us know in the comment section below any of these trailers which have piqued your interest. Let us know in the comment section below, because now we're going to get into the news, and Harry Potter fans, get your wands out, because unfortunately this week we had the very, very sad loss of Michael Gambon. So one's out for the Potter fans. I saw a clip of a lot of Harry Potter fans literally taking their wands out in the Harry Potter system in London, the one in London.
Don't clip this, please. Say don't clip this.
No, Franco, we're talking about an actor dying. Don't be
too soon. Sorry.
I mean, he is an actor who is known for other things apart from being Albus Dumbledore.
Of course.
He's got a career which started in the 70s.
Exactly.
He's got a bunch of Shakespeare.
Just because a bunch of grown-up teenagers only know him for Dumbledore.
And taking.
To be fair, he's done a lot of Shakespeare as well.
Yeah, so huge Shakespeare thing.
And speaking of Matthew Vaughn, he was in Layer Cake, no, as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, he was. Yes,
he was in Layer Cake. Yes,
he was in fantastic film, Gosford Park. If you guys haven't seen that,
I haven't watched it.
Really, really good film.
Damn,
really good film.
What happened to Michael Gambon? Unfortunately, Gambon died. Well, fortunately for him, died peacefully in the hospital, surrounded by his family after a bout of pneumonia, according to a statement from the Irish actor's family provided to The Hollywood Reporter on Thursday. Rest in peace, Michael Gambon. Don't know if you want to mention any of his other movies, guys, but there were
I just have a funny anecdote about Michael Gambon. One of my favorite things, and it's involving a Harry Potter film. And I would say it's only because he was such a Shakespearean actor that he did it in this way. But there's obviously the scene in The Goblet of Fire when Harry's name comes out. Now, in the book, it's like it says, Dumbledore asked calmly, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire? Yet in the film, he's like grabbing him and he's screaming at him, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire? And I like that he decided to just go with it.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense now that you mention. It's like, I wouldn't say calmly, it's very dangerous.
It makes more sense with given that in this world they know how dangerous being in the Triwizard Tournament is. I don't know why the fuck these schools decide to put teenagers in this deadly Hunger Games like tournament. but that's
So-
besides. That's a whole other
No,
podcast.
sorry, I can imagine. Can you imagine the wizard being Maltese? Madame Harry, can you imagine like? She's so Harry.
To be fair, the transition from Richard Harris to a new Dumbledore could have been a disaster. And
Yes,
I think
they got a
Cameron
very
did
good
really well.
replacement.
Oh,
Very,
very,
very good replacement.
I don't like that
So,
they got rid of his pointy hat. I'll say that.
true.
True.
I
And
mean,
Richard Harris was a very different Dumbledore.
Completely.
He would have said it calmly.
Yeah.
it has to droop, man. He was an old wizard after all. It cannot be always pointy.
Anyways, rest in peace to Jesus Franco. Rest in peace
Not even gonna give that a
to
laugh.
Michael Campbell.
Anyway.
Let's get into the nitty-gritty of the WGA. So, as I'm sure our viewers and listeners know, the WGA finally reached an agreement. Well, let's say the AMPTP finally reached an agreement with the WGA, because it was the AMPTP who were basically denying the WGA. WGA were always there available. Lots of positive things have come out from this agreement. Now, the writers have started working again. And these are just these are the main ones, right? First of all, we've got an amount of minimum TV writers, room staffing. So WJ asked for a minimum of 6 writers for a series with 6 episodes. There are obviously different variations. So, for example, 6-episode series calls for at least 3 writer level hires. Series that run 7 to 12 episodes per season have to hire 5 writers, and series that run 13 episodes or more must hire 6 writers. There are exceptions to when you have a solo writer, so a solo writer taking care of the whole, basically writing of the whole show. That's long story short of that. Then we've got also requirements of writer producers as well, which are interesting. We've got improved streaming residuals, which is basically success-based bonuses. I don't know. We'll discuss this when I go through the whole thing really quickly. I'm interested to see what you guys think about this, though, the success-based bonus. Basically, the better a show does on Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, Apple TV, Max and Hulu, and the other streamers, obviously, the bigger the bonus the writers get, which is a good thing, but obviously, it'll be interesting to discuss it.
Wouldn't that give also tell them no, it wasn't a success? So wouldn't they play a bit around
We'll
the
see.
numbers? We'll see.
Let me
though.
go through the whole thing, Franco, and then we'll
Voilà.
discuss the whole thing together, so that the whole picture will be clear. Obviously, we've got AI, which is, I think, where I've seen the most criticism towards the WGA. How they've kind of like what they've agreed on artificial intelligence. Is basically the agreement is AI-generated material can't be used to undermine a writer's credit or separated rights. AI can't write or rewrite literary material, and AI-generated material will not be considered source material under the MBA, meaning that AI-generated material can't be used to undermine a writer's credit or separated rights. The writer can use AI if they want to, but a company cannot force them to use something like ChatGPT, for example. Company must also disclose to the writer if any materials they have been given were generated by AI or incorporate AI-generated material, and the WGA reserves the right to assert that exploitation of writers' material to train AI is prohibited. I think this is very, 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 very important. Very important. This needs to be illegal. You cannot do that at all. And finally, we've got, screenwriters, obviously with regard to movies. First of all, the contract ensures the policy of ensuring that the vast majority of screenwriters will get a second step. Why is this? Basically, many screenwriters for big movies were basically paid only for the writing of one script. But as I'm sure you guys know, obviously the script goes through a number of changes, right? And many of these script writers, as Adam Conover, Franco, I don't know if you watched it, had described, many of these screenwriters were told by the production company, oh, we need to make a change. Come on, help us make the change. Like, do you want the movie to be bad? And they were trying to kind of like guilt trip the writers into editing the script, basically after being paid for only one job, basically. So this ensures that won't happen. These writers will at least get paid for a second step, paid to do at least one rewrite of a draft screenplay. AMPTP initially offered to agree to those terms only on wholly original screenplays, not projects that are derived from existing IP or reboots. But this obviously meant that, you're not going to have any new stuff coming out. Basically, it's all going to be reboots, reboots, and
and
reboots.
reboots.
And so a second step is required so why did they agree with this? So obviously, under the new terms per the guild, a second step is required whenever a writer is hired for a first draft screenplay for 200% of minimum or less, including original and non-original screenplays, which is very important.
Very important.
It also applies to spec scripts that are purchased outside of the usual development process. To conclude, and then obviously we've got compensation for screenwriting, especially for streaming films, which was another place where writers were being, shafted really badly. To conclude, writing teams are very important, especially when you've got a duo writers, because duo writers were basically being paid the same amount as one writer, but asked to split the amount between the two of them, which is completely ridiculous. That won't be the case anymore. That's because the fees. So, as I said, now for the purpose of calculating health and pension benefits, because duo writers wouldn't fall under health and pension benefits in the US, each writer will be credited with earning the full fee, even though it is still split across the team. Per the guild, each writer on a writing team employed for a script will receive pension and health contributions up to the relevant cap as though they were a single writer, rather than splitting the applicable cap.
At least.
So those are more or less the big agreements that they have. Don't know who wants to comment first, Franco, Joe?
No, I mean, but because I'm seeing the time as well, since we're trying to keep it as tight as possible. I think it's a great win. They also did a great job by saying that this is going to be reviewed in 3 years' time for companies to avoid finding loopholes and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, I'm like, take that W. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, take that W. Joe.
The one I'm most interested in, and I think it actually makes a lot of sense, because there was all this talk about like residuals and should writers get residuals and stuff like that. And it's going to sound wild, and I'll start it off with saying I don't think in this day and age with the way things are released, you can do residuals, because things are not streamed or they're not shown on a channel, which they're shown for 3 weeks and then they're gone for a couple of years, and then they're re-aired and they come back and you get residuals that way. The industry is very, very different now. Things are on a streaming platform, and unless you're Westworld and HBO gets rid of you, you normally stay on that streaming platform and you can be watched any day by anyone at any time. What I do like is that the success-based bonus is probably a nice little buffer for these writers. So if you are a writer on Stranger Things, which is a massive fucking TV series, and it does really, really well, as it's supposed to, and if you've worked hard, it should do really well if it's a well-written show, you get a nice big bonus on top of the salary that you're already getting.
But Joe, they do have they do have analytics. They can calculate how many people have watched it. So
Yes, of course.
like, I mean, they do have the algorithms to do so. So there
Yes,
is a way.
I'm assuming that's what it will be based on.
Yes, for sure. I mean, because how would that's what was again, speaking of Adam Conover, that's what he said. That basically, so they do have the algorithms. They know what is working, which actors they work. So they do have the analytics.
Yes, of course.
So they can pay residuals anyway. It's not a question of not knowing or what not knowing. So at least,
I wouldn't say it's a case of knowing or not knowing. It's just that it's completely different, because how can you quantify how often a show is going to continue being watched and decide on a residual to pay in that regard? You know,
as far as I remember, it reduces after a certain amount. I forgot.
Yeah. It's complicated because the industry has changed so much and the way we watch things has changed so much. But I think it's a very good thing that now they have this. If a show does well, you will also be rewarded on top of that, which was not a thing which was in place before.
No, of course.
Like, guys, let me give you an example of a show, because we're not going to get into this, but I just had a quick look at the streaming rankings, and something really caught my attention. Look at Suits.
Yeah, Suits has for some reason just seen a huge resurgence.
And we had the stars of Suits coming out to say that they barely received anything.
Exactly.
For
So
2.45 billion minutes viewed on Netflix.
Whereas I'm curious to see if with this success-based bonus, because it's just gotten a huge like rebirth, and like people are rewatching it, technically it's a success again. So shouldn't you get a bonus for that?
yeah,
The thing is, this is where it gets mixy, and we'll conclude it with this. This is where it gets mixy because this is for movies and original TV shows that are broad-based hits for subscription-based platforms such as Netflix and so on. Now, Suits obviously was not made for Netflix.
No.
It's just
is
being,
streamed on Netflix,
just being streamed on Netflix. Made for streaming titles. Most original series are major streamers. So the issue is, so for example, here we go. But the emphasis on made for streaming titles means that older series that were originally produced for non-streaming platforms, i.e. the USA network drama Suits that has recently been a popular binge watch, would not qualify for the bonus.
Yeah.
but this
I
is
mean,
Hollywood. Is this variety?
It would be a terrible business decision to be like, look, we're going to grant you bonuses based on success, and anything that has been made in the past, which we before this agreement, which we show on our platforms, is also coming under that banner. No like company in the world is going to say yes to that kind of deal.
But
It's a
Suits,
terrible business decision.
but Suits before that, just a second. Suits was shown wasn't shown on a streaming service. No,
No,
just Peacock.
What was it? It wasn't released on Peacock, right?
no. Peacock is a new streaming service.
No, Peacock is streaming. So what was it released on?
I think
don't know.
Suits was Suits.
I watched
FX
Suits
or something like that.
Yeah, something
Originally.
like that.
So it was shown on TV. So it was shown on TV. So it worked. It should have worked under the
Oh no,
Like-
on USA Network. I don't even know what that is. It's a Universal content production.
Okay.
yeah.
I
So
mean, Suits was always a big hit. Suits was always a big hit. I watched Suits, by the way. Don't know if you watched it, guys.
cable
Fun series. Really fun series.
cable TV. Yeah, it's cable
Yes,
TV.
yes.
So they should have gotten residuals through the old system, so to speak.
Yeah, but I mean, it probably hasn't been on cable TV for the last I'm going to say at least 8 years.
Yeah, but
100%. It's been on Netflix for quite a while, but I don't know why the resurgence, like what happened. Anyways, so that is the WGA contract explained. Let us know, guys, in the comment section below. Do you think this was a win for the WGA? Let us know. And to conclude, some local news, some very sad local news, because unfortunately, the home of Maltese legend Joseph Calleja was demolished to make way for guest house. As Franco previously made sure to clarify, we're not talking about the tenor here, we're talking about the actor and also singer. This is the result of Joseph Calleja's house, which is being basically demolished. I think there were some photographs here. It's being completely demolished. I believe it's only the door which is left. Franco, you brought this to my attention.
I mean, there's no way. It's like this shows how much we really care about our culture and our history, and but it's the numbers that's important, and not the heritage. It's the numbers and the productions. Because if we attack this kind of development, we're attacking the Maltese filmmakers. I'm not gonna. That's been enough rants for today. Let's go into the reviews, guys. I mean, but there's nothing else to add. It's like this is how much we give a shit about our own culture, about our own heritage, even in movies. Because as far as I know, this guy was quite successful back in this day.
He was very successful. He was in touch
Yeah.
with evil.
Exactly. Like this guy worked with Orson Welles, but who the fuck knows who Orson Welles is now today? Anyway.
Yeah, that's
In
true.
Malta. I mean, this is so sad. And I saw Cassandra shared photographs of the stuff that was inside the house. Like there's lots of different little like memorials and so on. It's really sad. Really, really, really sad.
Could have been turned into a museum.
Should have turned it into a
No,
museum.
but we don't.
Museum.
Guys, we need more boutiques, hotels, ya hasra.
We
Tourism is
had
going bad.
we had a famous Hollywood actor in the golden age of Hollywood, but
No,
Demolished his
no.
house. And there were also, I was reading through the article,
Jesmond
there were also
Bulliet, Madonna.
some really interesting like firsts for Malta. There was, I believe, I don't know what it was it the AC? First AC
yeah,
in
it
Malta?
said
Yeah,
first air conditioning, first elevator, and an intercom.
first elevator,
Lallo.
intercom. This in itself, he said, gave the house architectural value, apart from the obvious fact that we had a bloody Hollywood star living in his last few years in Malta. Someone who's
He was
starred in
born in Sliema.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is in St. Julian's.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of like my girlfriend is an architect, so she explained like the nitty-gritty of this all. But there are a lot of off things. For example, parking. Like in St. Julian's, obviously parking is surprise, is a big issue. and obviously it's a guest house.
I wonder why. This parking is an issue.
But yes, this is very, very sad, very unfortunate. But it's it's just a small example of the direction our country has been going to. That is the news for this week, guys. Let us know in the comment section below any of these news which have interested you in any way. Do you think we should have saved the home of Maltese legend Joseph Calleja, or do you think we should go ahead and demolish every little old building to build guest houses in Malta? Let us know in the comment section below.
Never has a more rhetorical question been asked in this podcast.
Which leads
By the way,
us
guys.
now. Yes, Franco, go ahead.
No, comment. Andrea, please watch The Empty Man because it's 9 episodes to go for you to have
shit.
the Empty Man special.
Until the big 50.
Man, to be told in person to watch The Empty Man, that was an experience. Like, it was weird being told on
To be fair,
on reverse
it'll
side.
be even weirder when you start watching The Empty Man and you get some of the themes of the movie. That's going to freak you out.
Oh, you know, the way it was described really interested me. I'm going to be honest. Sorry,
Yeah,
guys.
it's a fucking good film. We're literally watching a bit of shit.
Recently, by the way, I checked because before it was getting like this cult renaissance with it, the audience rating was quite low, but now it's got into the 60%, so it's gaining traction slowly.
Yeah.
And well, actually, do tell us. It's an interesting story because we're going to speak about the movie that you watched. How was it suggested to you, Andrea?
The movie that you watched? Which movie did I watch?
Creator. We all watched The Creator, right?
Oh, but The Creator is going to be the last movie because that we'll discuss all together. We have lots of movies
No, but-
to discuss today.
But you went to watch The Creator, and then you met someone's like, what was his name? Jake? Was it Jake?
Your friend Joe. He played rugby with you.
Jake, yeah, you mentioned Jake.
Jake.
Kotaya,
Yeah.
I haven't
We
seen him
discussed
in
it.
years.
Yeah. But he was like, wait, you have a podcast with Joe, right? I'm like, yeah. And then we compared
Famous.
Letterboxd. And then we compared the Letterboxd accounts.
It's
together.
good to know that other people have letterboxd accounts and it's growing.
Yeah. It's a very, very interesting Letterboxd account. That's what likes to watch a lot of cult horror movies.
Respect.
Very interesting. Yeah,
A
definitely.
man after my own
respect
heart.
Anyways, shall we get into the reviews, guys? We've
Vamos.
got a number of movies and series to discuss. Joe, shall we get into Ahsoka first?
Yes, because I'll keep it very short. It's really hard to do this every week because I can't spoil any of it because Andrea really wants to watch this show. So without spoiling anything, the issues I have with it still persist. Is that it's a real bugbear of mine that like this comes after Rebels, and Rebels was so like colorful and unique, and there are no colors in this except for blue and gray and brown. Which is, in my opinion, a real problem because it could have been unique, but it just looks like every other Star Wars film made in the last 10 years. So that's still a problem. They haven't really changed that. There have been some like pretty big reveals and like stuff like that without like getting into any kind of spoiler territory. The action is still a problem for me. Like, and it's anything that happens in like a starship or even like with like blaster fire is fine, but any kind of lightsaber fight just sucks. Like, I'm sorry, there are probably some people that really like it. It's so slow and like not kinetic at all, and just pretty like I should like the highlight of watching a show about a Jedi who not only uses one lightsaber but two is that the fights with the lightsabers should be fun to watch, and they're not. And I think it's just an overall problem. Like, this isn't actually even a spoiler at all. There's a scene at the beginning of this episode where Ahsoka is like practicing some moves in her ship, like with her two lightsabers. And I don't know, like, because like, Rosario Dawson's not like old and like frigid, is she? Like, she's definitely capable, but she's doing like all these moves, and it's just all like slow motion, and it's definitely trying to like emulate like what like a samurai would do practicing with his katana, but it just doesn't look good. It looks like she's making it up on the spot as well, at least I felt, and it's just all really slow and very rigid and just doesn't look very good. Maybe it's a case of like the costume and the makeup being like too cumbersome for Rosario Dawson to be able to perform in it, but it has progressively, as the story has gone on, it does pick up from like episode 3 onwards. We are on episode 7 now. It is definitely more exciting now, and it is sticking more to one location, and we are exploring that location a bit more, and we're getting some kind of depth with that. I have things which will become major issues if they don't get satisfying resolution, because as I said, it is defying a lot. I mean, Star Wars defies logic at every turn. I mean, the fact that like a laser sword, like, it's just. And yes, you suspend that disbelief because you want to have fun, and it's like space opera fantasy, and I get that. But when you've established a world and it has its own established logic, but then you are defying that, that's when I start to have problems. And that's what I've kind of come to realize. These, like, okay, if you did the Clone Wars, that's one thing. But I think it was a huge mistake on Lucasfilm's and Disney's part to do these fillers in between parts of the main trilogy films. So in between like the original trilogy and the prequels and the sequels, because you just get major problems with them. Because again, it's not a spoiler, but like with everyone involved in this show, every character, all I'm thinking about constantly is, I know where The Force Awakens starts, and there's no mention of these characters. So do they all die? And it all means nothing.
Yep.
You know, that's the biggest issue I'm having with all of it. Is they're like, Filoni is trying to tell this really grand story, which allegedly is going to connect like the original trilogy to the sequels in some way. But I don't see how you can do that retroactively when we've already seen the sequels. And
There is going to be a movie, though, Joe. There is going to be the Filoni movie, which should connect everything together.
Yes, but the fact that then these characters get zero mention whatsoever in any of the sequels, it's again, it just goes into the fact that Disney never really had a plan all along, and it's all a bit of a fucking mess.
100%.
I'm praying. I'm not even a praying man. I'm an aggressive atheist. But I'm praying to anyone that will hear me that now, after this, we get some form of break in Star Wars content. And if when we do get more Star Wars content, they're just going to go, either what we need to do is forget the fucking Skywalkers, forget the Empire. In my opinion, forget the fucking Jedi as well. Either go really far back, and I'm talking thousands of years before any of these events, or go really far forward. Because I'm tired of the filler that is coming into this, which makes no sense. Like, and then, okay, people are going to fire at me like, oh, but like, you loved Andor so much. I can forgive Andor because in Rogue One, spoiler for Rogue One if you haven't seen it, Andor dies. So
you have a backstory as well. Or maybe yes. you know what they're going to do? They're gonna do, oh, there's going to be a timeline event where there's going to be, there was multiple timelines. That's what's gonna happen.
I think that will make me hate Star Wars. Oh my god. Oh my god. I don't want to hate Star Wars.
No, I don't think they can do that.
I've really tried to become the person, like, as I get older and more cynical. I've tried to just be the person of, I'm just going to enjoy Star Wars for Star Wars. Like, you know, there's the meme of Star Wars is Star Wars kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I'll just enjoy it because I do like the world, and I like the goofiness, and I like the campiness and stuff like that. And they're films I grew up watching, and it's a reason why I can go back and I can like enjoy the prequels now, because even though two of them are two of the worst films objectively I have ever fucking seen, and the third one is actually admittedly pretty good, I can see the charm and I can laugh at them and I can enjoy them in that way at least. I'm like, again, Ahsoka is, because I feel like I come into this podcast every week and I don't want people to feel like I'm shitting on this show. There are very good elements to it. There are some very good bits to it, but
It has an 8 on IMDb.
yes, because the audience that this series is for is the most
Are like
vocal in all of Star Wars, who are the fucking, and I'm going to alienate people here, the fucking dorks that love the Clone Wars. And I say dorks in a kind of loving way as well, because I like the Clone Wars. I didn't love it. I get why people really enjoyed it, and it's like their kind of holy
Because the
grail of
Clone
Star
Wars are amazing. Oh my god, I
But
love the Clone Wars so
the
much.
best thing about the Clone Wars is that they had one guy leading the charge with the whole thing, and he had a plan, and he knew he had his beginning, his middle, and his end, and it was good. But again, the fear I have with this is that Disney has come in. They're like, Ahsoka's going to bridge the gap between the original trilogy and the sequel trilogy, and that's how it's all going to make sense. And it sounds like a really harsh thing, but if we get to the end of Ahsoka with all the characters that we've seen and we've been introduced to, and characters that come back and stuff like that, and they just fucking die at the end of it, I might break everything in my apartment.
It's gonna be a Rogue One, like massive explosion at the end.
Yes,
Yeah.
but like again, and to be fair, I need to do a reappraisal of Rogue One, because I just feel like it's due now. I need to go back and I need to revisit it. But
You know what? I think I should do that this week as well.
Yeah, the thing about Rogue One is that it was kind of implied in the very first Star Wars film, A New Hope, that to get the plans, it was basically a suicide mission. You know? So you kind of assumed, I went into Rogue One thinking none of these people are getting out of this. Like, there's no way.
Yeah, same here. Fair enough.
So yeah, Ahsoka, it's getting better. It needs to have, it really needs payoff. That's what it doesn't have right now. It's building up to something, and I feel like it's building up to a lot, and whether it can pull it off or not, we'll see. Please get an actual like sword action stuntman coordinator. Get Eric Linden, our boy.
Yeah.
True.
Because the
what upsets me, Joe?
sword fights suck. Like,
You know what upsets me about that? So because we're talking about Ahsoka, who in the Clone Wars,
yep.
is like one of the most exciting lightsaber users, especially with her 2 blades. Like, there's one particular scene which I'll never forget. It's a scene where she drops down to protect Anakin from Cad Bane and from Obi-Wan, who was obviously disguised.
Well, how far are you into Rebels?
Rebels, I'm in season 2. Gonna finish season 2 now.
Okay, because wait for the season 2 finale. That's one of like my favorite
I have
bits
like
of Star Wars.
Couple more episodes.
Ever.
Nice. So that's like really exciting use of the lightsaber. And in the final couple of seasons, Ahsoka has some great moments as well.
Yeah.
Like, for example, her fight with Darth Maul. That's
exactly.
beautiful. Like, that's stunning Star Wars moment. That's like peak.
I have one giant nitpick with this show, which I'll have to go through once you finish Rebels.
Yeah,
but
cool.
every time I see a certain character, I'm just like, it's so lazy. It's just like
Sabine?
No, not with Sabine. Although I think they've like fucked Sabine into the ground, because like she's just a husk of what she was in Rebels.
I saw an image of Sabine, and I saw someone complaining about her portrayal on Twitter.
It's boring. Like, is everyone just a fucking? Does everyone
No
just become
color.
a boring adult? Like,
one of the most colorful characters in Rebels, and no color in
the same.
I don't know. I haven't watched it, so I can't comment.
Yeah,
It's just a
the
comment I
same
read
with
on
like
Twitter.
the same with like Ahsoka, where like, and again, this is like one of like my biggest like issues like with like the Ahsoka thing as a whole, is that she does the thing where like she leaves the Jedi Order, but then she's still a Jedi and kind of thing, and then she starts training people as Jedi, and it doesn't make any sense, because we need the Jedi back in Star Wars, obviously, because they're the only in a galaxy far, far away with all these aliens and all these organizations. We keep coming back to the fucking Jedi. It's like the Catholic Church of the Star Wars universe. And I'm fucking fed up of it.
Fair enough.
Joe, one last question. Would you say that any of the games that come out, the Star Wars games, be good, like basis for a story to be told in movie form?
Yes.
Which one would you say then?
I would say both of the Jedi games.
The Jedi Survivor?
We
They're very
have
cinematic.
them. We have them as games. I don't feel like I need them in movie form.
True.
One thing that I wish they decided to do as Disney. We've all seen The Mandalorian season 2, right? One thing I wish that they did, and it would have been really interesting, and it would have bridged a big gap in Star Wars at the end of Mandalorian season 2. I wish we didn't get CGI Luke Skywalker taking away Grogu. I wish we got Cal Kestis picking up Grogu and training.
Ooh, man.
That's true. True.
You have
fair
like
enough.
the actor that plays Cal Kestis like plays him in the fucking games. He's the same age. Like it all makes sense,
And he's a
right?
great actor.
And he's a good actor, Cameron Monaghan. Like, what do I know?
True.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
could have linked the game really well with
Yeah.
Mandalorian.
True.
Probably
Instead-
more sales for the games.
Instead, we got
Mandalorian
the,
becomes
the
more
biggest
popular.
fucking nostalgia butt fuckery in the world.
No, that's fair. And on that I'll agree. Although I didn't mind the Luke moment.
I fucking hated the Luke moment.
But I again do watch how much of a better job the
Yes.
Corridor crew did with
even,
the face
like-
replacement.
But not even like face replacements. Like, okay, if you're gonna make Luke Skywalker, I don't mind if you recast it to someone who looks a lot like him. And there's Sebastian Stan right there.
Oh, Madonna.
Have you seen the image where someone literally just puts Sebastian Stan's face on
Yes,
young
yes.
Mark Hamill and it looks basically the same?
Yeah.
Just take a risk. Fucking hell. Like,
True. Back to what Yella had said before.
Yeah.
yeah.
No risks. Anyways, let's move on, guys.
I
because
spent
now-
way too long on Ahsoka, sorry.
No worries. I'm going to give you a quick review of Castlevania Nocturne, spoiler free, of course, because the ending, ooh boy. it was one fucking ending.
Okay.
No spoilers, of course. So Castlevania Nocturne has been some interesting discourse about it on Twitter, very racist discourse as well about it on Twitter,
What?
because
Because
Yes.
because Twitter,
surprise,
basically.
surprise. But yes, there are a lot of very, very diverse characters, very interesting characters as well. So, as a big fan of the original Castlevania series, I think that was 4 seasons. I think that's 4 seasons, the original Castlevania.
Yeah, I think so.
Very, very good series. The ending was insane. Like seeing Belmont fighting against death, that was really good. Anyways, that was a great series. And I was really looking forward to this. The trailer was great, beautiful soundtrack, and it finally released on Netflix last Wednesday, I believe. Anyways, so Castlevania Nocturne is a standalone sequel to the Castlevania animated series, obviously based on the video games of the same name. It's basically an adaptation of 2 of those games, which is basically the best of all the Castlevania games, Symphony of the Night, and also Rondo of Blood. It is set in the French Revolution. It's in 1792. And we see Richter Belmont, who is basically, obviously, a descendant of the Belmont family, together with Maria Renard, who joined together to battle the vampires. The vampires have sort of joined the aristocracy. It's kind of like El Conde, but in Castlevania, basically, because the vampires have joined the aristocracy, trying to fight against the revolutionaries. And there's also a mention of Malta in this, because there's a Knights of St. John. in it.
Ah, okay.
Not very positive portrayal of the Knights of St. John, though.
Like the knights are vampires as well.
No, I won't get into it.
Oh, okay.
Spoilers. Anyways, what about Castlevania Nocturne? I'm gonna say it's not as good as the original Castlevania series. My expectations were sky high, and that was a rookie mistake. I should never go in sky high with. So I don't think it's as good as the original Castlevania series. It's still a very, very good series. The first, like, it's 8 episodes in total. The first 3-4 episodes, I was like, do I like where this is going? Do I like these characters? I didn't really like most of the characters. And I'm going to be honest, some of the voice acting really didn't do it for me. We've got Edward Blumel. Who's that? I don't know if
I don't think I've heard of him.
best known for his roles in A Discovery of Witches and Killing Eve.
Oh, I know Killing Eve. What does he look like?
Edward Blumel. I've only heard his voice.
Yeah.
He's got black hair,
Just
young.
saw him on the screen.
like brown hair. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember him from Killing Eve.
Yeah, that's him.
Okay.
So I wasn't too convinced by the voice acting there. Something was off. Richard Dormer is very, very good as the Abbot. The Abbot is really good. but overall, I wasn't convinced. I'm going to be honest. But after like the fourth episode, there was an amazing fifth episode, and from there, it really picked up the pace. The animation. Now, I'm going to be honest. The animation wasn't always like Castlevania's strongest point. I remember Franco, you as well, were a little like not too convinced. It's beautiful. Don't get me wrong, and there's some beautiful use of color in this series. But it's like it's not the best animation. Let's put it that way. But some of the action in the final like 3 episodes is stunning. It's really good, really good action. Overall, do I recommend Castlevania Nocturne? I would recommend it if you're a fan of the original Castlevania. It's not as good. Again, I'm going to say it's not as good as the original Castlevania series on Netflix. I don't think the voice acting is as good as the original Castlevania series. It's not as good because I don't think the characters are as interesting as they were in the original Castlevania series. Again, voice acting is not as convincing, but it really picks up the pace in the final 3-4 episodes. The characters get some good development and eventually, develop into what I was expecting to get in the first episode. So, like the final 3-4 episodes was what I expected to get out of the characters in all the episodes. They needed to go on a bit of a journey. I didn't like that journey, but where they ended, I liked. So I'm quite looking forward to season 2. The final scene in this series was like, oh, hype. So I'm very excited for season 2. But overall, as a rating, I think I'll give it somewhere between a 3 and a 3.5. I don't know, where I would give like the final season of Castlevania a 5, and I absolutely loved it. I think I'll give Castlevania Nocturne a 3.5 because it was still very good fun, but just not as good as the original Castlevania. So those are my thoughts on Castlevania Nocturne. Next up, guys, none of you have watched the Roald Dahl shorts, right?
No, I have
No,
not.
no. By the way, Andrea, because I always remember somehow whenever Castlevania comes, have you ever watched Vampire Hunter D?
No.
You should
I've
check
heard
it out.
it's an very good vampire series.
The 80s. No, but you can watch the movie one, the OVA from the 80s, and I think you'd like or Demon City, Shinjuku,
Hmm. Yeah, I've heard of all of these.
and Ninja Scroll.
I've heard of
If
Ninja
you
Scroll, yeah.
if you want really good animation, by the way, take care. Not Ninja Resurrection, Ninja Scroll.
Ninja Scroll, all right.
I think you might enjoy them as well.
Okay. So, really quickly, I'm just going to go through the Roald Dahl shorts, which released on Netflix, all directed by Wes Anderson, and basically all with pretty much the same cast. An insane cast, mind you. Very good cast. General comments for all of them. I'm just going to come right out and say this is some of Wes Anderson's best work, in my opinion. Aesthetically, these shorts are stunning, absolutely stunning. I'll have to say that my favorite, and I'll start with my least favorite and go on to my most favorite. But just the staging of them all. Let me start with my least favorite. I think I'd say my least favorite was the Ratcatcher, although still very good, mind you. The staging, so it's basically it's like you've got extras moving stages here and there, and it's a very interesting, the way it's directed and shot is beautiful, it's stunning. Again, the aesthetics stunning, really well done. And that's just to give you an idea of the aesthetics. I think the narration in all of them is very good, but in some it's better than in others. And it's actually quite funny. I laughed in all of them, basically, apart from one where you're not meant to laugh, though. And so let me get into all of them. The first one was The Ratcatcher. The Ratcatcher was my, I'd say, least favorite. We've got an English village where you've got this mechanic and a reporter. And basically, you've got Ralph Fiennes as the Ratcatcher. He's perfect as the Ratcatcher. And Ralph Fiennes comes in and starts to describe how he basically, the different things he does to catch rats. It's a brutal episode, very brutal episode. The way the descriptions and the narration by a friend is brutal. There's one quote, I took this down as a quote, as if he were gargling with melted butter. And that's a description by the narrator.
Very, very,
It's
very Roald Dahl.
very, very Roald Dahl. No, this is like, I would imagine Roald Dahl like literally releasing this. This is like literally exactly what you would imagine a Roald Dahl adaptation to be by Wes Anderson.
To tell you the truth, in comparison to Asteroid City, I feel Wes Anderson and Roald Dahl, marriage made in heaven.
Definitely.
And
definitely.
it's funny that Richard Ayoade took this long to be in a Wes Anderson movie as well, because he's
True.
also
a lot of these, I'm going to comment. A lot of these should be in every Wes Anderson, to be honest.
It's true.
Yeah. So Ratcatcher overall, I'd say it's number 4 in my list, more or less because it didn't either basically completely depress me, didn't generate any like powerful emotions like the other kind of like series, other shorts made. Like the emotions that the other shorts got out of me were insane. Number 3, I really like Poison. Number 3, I'd say, was the longest of the 4 shorts, which is The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. Very, 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 very good short. It's, I believe, around 37 minutes long, starring Benedict Cumberbatch as the titular character, together with Ralph Fiennes, Dev Patel, Ben Kingsley, and Richard Ayoade as well. Like I said, it's more or less the same cast. We've got Henry Sugar, who is a rich man who finds a book and basically learns about this guru who could see without using his eyes. And after finding out about this, then he sets out basically using this skill to cheat at gambling, basically. It's overall, the direction in this is stunning. I'm just going to come right out and say it. I think that all these actors should star in each and every one of Wes Anderson productions, whether it's Dev Patel, who is perfect, and I'm going to comment about Dev Patel especially in the next one, because Dev Patel is perfect for Wes Anderson. And obviously, Benedict Cumberbatch is also a match made in heaven. Again, beautifully directed. The story is told wonderfully with narration coming, whether it's from Benedict Cumberbatch or from Ralph Fiennes or from Dev Patel. The narration is, again, great, very fast paced. So like if you lose attention for a second, you miss out on like 2 sentences there. Because the narration is very fast paced storytelling. So it's 37 minutes long, it feels like 10 minutes. Overall, excellent stuff. So rating, by the way, rating for Ratcatcher, I'd give it a good, I think 3.5. Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar, I'd give that somewhere between a 4 and a 4.5. I'd say. I think somewhere between a 4 and a 4.5. I think 4 is fair enough for this.
Quick interjection. I feel like seeing from the trailer, the clip of the trailer, it seems like this style, which I really hated, like even watching the Asteroid City, I feel right now it's fine tuned. I feel it's fine tuned now, because even like the saturation and the shadows looks quite. I think I might check this out.
I would recommend it. They're shorts, right?
No.
And the colors for me, the colors just do it. Just the general aesthetics of these shorts.
Yeah.
Stunning.
I feel I would check this out though. Like I know that I'm a bit anti Wes Anderson, but it feels at least it's fine tuning, and he's trying to like this. This is a great.
Yes. The whole staging of this is insane. By the way, short comment, Kaganad actually had written a YouTube essay on Wes Anderson and about the symmetry in Wes Anderson. And I can tell quite a bit with his 2 big movies, right? That he really pays a lot of attention to symmetry in his movies, with one movie literally being about architecture. Just a small part of it. Anyways, that's a Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. Next up is Poison, which for me was a beautifully told story. When a poisonous snake slithers onto an Englishman's stomach in India, his associate and a doctor race to save him. This is, I can't believe that just 17 minutes passed when I watched it. Like, the tension that this short created was insane. Dev Patel is so funny, but so good in this. He is I think Dev Patel is starting to become one of my all-time favorite actors. He was so good in just 17 minutes. I cannot describe how good Dev Patel was in this. Cumberbatch, great. Ralph Fiennes, really funny as well. But funny, but it's still super tense. So this is a very, very, very tense short. I'd give this a 5 out of 5. I mean, I loved it. I had a really good time watching it. Very good commentary also about colonialism. I know there were some commentary. I mean, Roald Dahl is quite a well-known racist, but there's some interesting commentary about colonialism in this as well. And all this done in 70 minutes is just, I think, for me, this is some of peak Wes Anderson, personally speaking. So that is Poison, 5 out of 5, definitely. Like Dev Patel, please be in every Wes Anderson. Be in every movie, actually. And to conclude, The Swan. This short broke me. Like, I don't know if you've read the book, I don't know if you've read the short of this. This is apparently based on a true story, but a small, brilliant boy is tormented by 2 large, idiotic police. That's a very good description of this. This short broke me, literally. I couldn't watch anymore after watching this one. Like, this literally made me feel depressed watching this. It's such a powerful short, all done in 17 minutes, beautifully done. Again, the aesthetics are stunning, beautiful staging, beautiful production design.
The Rupert's friend looks like Orlando Bloom.
Performance. He does,
Precisely,
doesn't
yes.
Yeah,
He's
he's
talented.
the best narrator you could ever think of for a Wes Anderson movie. Like, this is great. This is just peak Wes Anderson for me. And like you said, Franco, Wes Anderson and Roald Dahl go together perfectly. Again, this is a 5 out of 5.
Like peanut butter and
Biggest one of
jam.
Yeah, this is again a 5 out of 5.
All right.
So very, very good stuff. Overall, I'm very pleased with it. I think Wes Anderson really found good inspiration. He had an amazing, obviously, cast of actors with him, on all these shorts. And I mean, having Ralph Fiennes be Roald Dahl and Rupert Friend as a narrator, obviously helps make things much easier for someone like Wes Anderson. So again, this is great stuff. Really great stuff. Go watch it, guys. It's a short, 70 minutes long. Only the Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar is 37 minutes long, but that's also very, very good. So those are my thoughts about the Roald Dahl Netflix shorts directed by Wes Anderson. And to conclude our final movie, The Creator. Franco,
Yep.
you want to get into The Creator, and then we'll all give our thoughts about it.
So the creator, based on a true story. No, I mean, but that's actually one of the comments I heard. That's a nice comment you hear at the end of the movie, not during the movie. Anyway, The Creator, directed by and written also by Gareth Edwards and Chris Weitz. The story goes that against the backdrop of a war between humans and robots with artificial intelligence, a former soldier finds the secret weapon, a robot in the form of a young child. Now, I went into this movie, didn't read any reviews, didn't watch didn't watch the previews on Rotten Tomatoes, and I particularly quite enjoyed it. And even more so, like I went to watch it with my father. My father loved it. I think one of the highlights is the USS Nomad. Don't tell me, guys, I never felt this kind of menace in ages. And another highlights was the Radiohead Needle Drop.
Oh, so
Yeah.
good. Goosebumps.
This movie, despite its flaws, it's a movie I haven't felt goosebumps watching a movie in ages. Like Illahwa, twice I felt that one during Radiohead, and in the beginning when you see like the nomads scanning around. It's somehow funny enough, because then afterwards I saw the reviews and I was quite surprised. Like, what this is it? It's only 68% with the reviews, because then the audience reviews, I agree more. It's 77%. This movie done on an $80 million budget looks fucking amazing. If there's anything that this movie like doesn't miss, is the visuals. It looks so well grounded. Even I was amazed. Like I forgot that I was seeing CG. Even like with the how the AI and how well like there's I haven't seen sometimes with the CGI you see a sort of what do you call it? Not parallax. You know when it doesn't gel well and you see the
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
the CG element drifting. There was no drift
Mhm.
whatsoever. Um, there was some pacing issues towards the last act. I felt like. Anyway, guys, you have. I liked it. My rating would be a solid 7 on 10, like 3 point. Not, which would be 4 on 5, but 7 on 10 is much more on it. Like 77% on the Rotten Tomatoes. Perfect. It's true.
Hmm.
It's true. Like in one moment, my father said, "This is reminding me a lot of Blade Runner, like the Asian setting." You said Apocalypse Now, but for me it was more like Blade Runner.
Yeah,
Gemma-chan,
especially the city parts.
yeah, Gemma-chan. I'm sorry, I have a huge crush on Gemma-chan. Sorry. Anyway, what?
Joe, what did you think about the creator?
I really liked it. I probably liked it the most out of the three of us. Not by that much more, to be completely honest. But for me, like I'm a sucker for big original sci-fi with big ideas
No,
and big visuals.
no, I
The
wait,
thing,
wait. Why do you always do this to me, guys? I really liked
what?
it.
No. I'm just saying. That's why I said I probably liked it the most, but not. But then not that much more than you guys did.
Okay,
Like
okay.
with my rating, which should be like I don't think it is like because a lot of the things like you're seeing with the marketing of this film now, which is like typical film marketing, is like they're pulling out all the really glowing reviews of a masterpiece, the best sci-fi film of the decade, and stuff like that, which is all hyperbolic. It is a very good film. Bottom line,
Which is
I
also the
think.
title of our video.
Yes. It is a very good film. It is a flawed film, but for me, it's good things more than make up for the
Oof.
bad things. The bad things I would say in it. I actually didn't feel the pacing was a problem. Like my biggest problems with Gareth Edwards as a director with his films like Monster and Godzilla and even Rogue One is he normally has a fucking great opening and a really good third act. And normally the middle is where you're kind of just like
Yes.
you're losing me a
Yep.
bit, bro.
Yeah,
It
yes,
But
sags,
in
yes.
sags a lot.
in this film, I felt like he did like the best job he's done so far because I was always engaged with what was going on, and I think the reason I was engaged in particular is, and this might be controversial, is because of John David Washington
Yeah.
because he basically carries this
Controversial?
film.
Why controversial?
I've heard some people be critical of his performance in this,
Yes,
but I
yes.
thought this is one of the
But it
best
was
performances I've seen
really good.
of his so far, where he
Oh,
actually had like a lot of depth and a lot to do.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
the emotional hook by the end of it, in my opinion, is actually very compelling when it gets to like its emotional apex of it all of a
oof.
man who's lost everything and all that. It is then another criticism, and I know that Andreas on Prickly Pears came back at me for this. It's an extremely tropey film. Now we live in a world where films are very similar and they're very tropey. This is a very tropey film, which is
Mm-hmm.
not.
Very derivative.
Yes,
Jesus.
it's not necessarily a bad thing because
You
everything is
can
a
see 10
remix of
movies
something.
in it, basically.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah. But listen,
but then it's bringing really unique shit to the table though because like
yeah.
are we allowed to spoil certain elements now?
All right, guys. So, viewers and listeners, even if you're watching this after, from now on, there are going to be spoilers for the creator. So, you have not watched it yet. Basically, I guess you can end the podcast here because that's what we're going to conclude with.
Okay, ready?
So, thank you for
3,
watching. Three, two,
Two,
2,
one.
one.
Spoils.
Sorry.
1.
Go ahead and spoil it,
So
Joe.
for spoilers, like as I was saying, this brings a lot of cool, unique shit to the table because now we're going to live in this world of AI is going to take a prevalent role as subject matter in our stories going forward. We saw it in Mission Impossible. We're seeing it with this now. But what I like what this film is doing, despite how much of sci-fi has been redone over the years, there was genuinely stuff in this film which I've never seen done before in a science fiction film with AI. Like one thing in particular, the whole notion of when someone dies, you can scan their brain to take their consciousness and basically upload it to a USB stick and then put it into one of the simulant like AI robots to
That one.
basically like speak to the dead in that way. I've never seen that
No, that
in at least to my brain in sci-fi. I'm not going to claim that this is the first use of it. I've never seen it before. And I'm just going to say another thing. I didn't know as someone who likes pretty goofy and cool robot shit, I didn't know I needed suicide bomber robots, but I'm here for it.
Oh.
It's so funny, but so scary at the
Yeah,
same time.
no,
Yes, absolutely terrifying. But what an idea!
but and that small moment of their hesitation as well.
Yeah.
This
Oh,
small
that was. What did you think they want to get out of that? Like, it's been an honor to serve you, and then like,
Well, for me, that was like, it's because obviously the US is taking a big fucking hit in this film as like the main enemy of like this warring enterprise. I'm like, I'm sorry, but like the way it kind of comes across, that's totally a fucking thing that the US would do if they could. If they had a robot which is patriotic to a point of its job is to blow itself the fuck up, they would do it, I think.
U.S. Army.
No.
At that moment, I was like, that's the most American robot I've ever seen.
No, but I don't think, because there was a bit like go when they told him go.
Yeah.
He knew, but it also shows like the hypocrisy in the US Army.
Oh, completely. Yeah.
Have you also noticed how even nature is against like violence,
Yep.
like the dog and the monkey?
Yeah, that's funny.
Oh,
That's why, like, there were these little bits of like goofiness in it, but I think my favorite thing about this, and this might be controversial, it might not as well, and Franco mentioned it as well, in terms of like how things look in this film, and the fact that $80 million is a shitload of money, but for a big sci-fi film like this, it's basically micro budget, because normally like a Marvel film is made on what, 150, 180 million normally, and it
more,
looks like dog
even
ass.
more. Like the last few budgets for the Marvels was like 300 million, I think.
Yeah, but I'm gonna say I haven't seen a film which features like, I guess, characters which are non-human, which are CGI creations. I haven't seen a film look this seamless and like lived in and real since District 9.
true.
Of like seeing all the robots in the simulants, it was like the same. Like I still watch District 9 like to this day, and I go, how the fuck
Did you manage
make the prawn aliens look like they're just like walking the earth with people? And it's the same.
I mean,
that robot right there, that looks real. It looks like a Boston Dynamics robot.
Looks completely real. I don't get it. I don't get how
it's
they made this
bonkers.
look this good.
But to finish like my kind of like analysis of it, it does have issues in the script. Like Ken Watanabe's character is an utter waste. He is just there for very, very shoddy exposition. And there's like some throwaway lines which I'm just like, this it needed more. But I just really want to see now. I want to see Edwards team up with a really good writer. Like, I just want, that's all I need from him, because he's clearly got these gigantic ideas. No one frames a shot and action like he does.
Oh, so much scope, man, as well. Yes.
Yeah, but like I've been listening to a podcast recently, and they said a really unique thing that Edwards does is he thinks about what is in the background of his frame, like tiny little details. We can even see it in the shot here, just as much as he's thinking about what is in the foreground of his frame. And that, when you're doing it with action and this kind of grand scale and these ideas, it's breathtaking. By the end of the film, I personally don't think the final third feels rushed. I feel like it felt like appropriately paced, that last bit.
Quite tense.
Yeah, but by the end of that third act, I was like, holy shit, that's a really good fucking way to end it. I did think there was some speaking as just like a nitpicky editor over here, there were some strange cuts that I think like needed more time at certain points, especially in the opening of the film. I was like, you could have like let a bit more time to breathe there. It's not perfect, but I think it's really, really good. I really enjoyed it. I'm a sucker for big original sci-fi which brings new ideas to the table, which is a swing, and it's mostly successful.
What rating would you give it, Joe?
I gave it on my letterbox. I gave it 4 out of 5.
Ooh,
based on my experience.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. Like for me, it's not perfect, but I recommend it.
Okay, fair enough. So I think I'm the most negative towards it here, which is a big surprise.
Okay, we can end the podcast here. See you guys.
Is this going to be the new Everything Everywhere All at Once?
No. I liked it. So I said the same thing for Everything Everywhere All at Once. No, I liked it. But the more I think about this movie, the more I like what it stands for and what it represents, rather than me liking what I saw on the screen. I'm going to be honest, I was lost in many moments of this movie. The characters just didn't do it for me. Like, I found the characters a little boring, to be honest. Many of the characters I found them really boring. I think all the characters I found boring.
I'd
Actually,
agree with the side characters. The side characters were all very underdeveloped.
like John David Washington gives a good performance, but I would be lying if I said I ever cared about whether he lived or died. I'm gonna be honest.
I would disagree, because I felt emotional when he went to see like Maya in the temple. That's also like speaking of grandeur and scope. Like I felt that. What's it was a bit strange that how all of a sudden they went like he goes again, spoiler, I love you to Alfie. Okay, I mean, I don't think I don't know what spurred him to say that thing.
I mean,
You know,
I kind of half forgave that because when he's found out that, I mean, this is a guy who's had to not only deal with the loss of his parents and his brother, but
His
then
wife.
also the supposed loss of his wife and his unborn child, to then go through this journey with this child to then find out that this is essentially created from your child. When he's had this kind of connection, holding on to the fact that his wife might actually be alive, and then maybe his child might be alive, I can forgive it in that instance because it is at the end of the day, the film doesn't shy away from trying to be very sentimental.
Yes, yes, yes. And you see, that's where it didn't get me. The emotions. It never struck a chord with me. Like it brought out no emotions from me.
not
It was
even
like, wow, that scene is insane,
not
or Lalo
Lalo.
goosebumps watching them come down in the helicopter. Like those scenes, great stuff. Action, great. I laughed a couple of times as well. But overall, so it never like struck a chord with me emotionally. I never really cared about the characters.
Not even the
That was
Destructionist, like when
no,
the
no, structure was great. No, all the visual stuff I loved. I really liked the visual stuff. But emotionally, it did nothing for me. It did absolutely nothing for me. Which
It's,
which uh, which upset me a little bit because I really got into this like really wanting to love it, and I didn't love it. I didn't love it at all. I kind of liked it. It also, like we already discussed, also felt very derivative. I could see 10 movies. Every scene is like, oh, that's that movie, and that's that movie, and that's that movie.
but listen, no,
For
Andrea,
something that's an original movie, it really is not original at all.
no,
That's
but
what it felt like.
listen, Andrea, we've seen Quentin Tarantino, and I'm not saying this is Quentin Tarantino level of filmmaking, but Quentin Tarantino. If we're going, if maybe if we said we need a good writer, Great Edwards need a Quentin Tarantino, but Quentin Tarantino is derivative, but we just don't notice. He's so good at picking up elements and remixing them.
Yes, because
Also, the films that he's referencing, like 10 people on Earth have seen.
Exactly. But
I mean, like, I don't know. For me, I don't think it's a crime to wear your influences on your sleeve when you do it well.
and not only that, Chris Tuckman says, like, to make a movie like The Creator, you have to go in and say this is like a mix of that movie with that movie. He said, what did he say? Blade Runner, and I think Blade Runner and Apocalypse Now. I forgot which one he said. It's a mixture of this movie and this movie. Yeah, this is how you have to have a pitch.
Yeah. How else are you going to get Fox / Disney
exactly.
to fund your
no,
gigantic
true,
sci-fi film?
True. I don't know. It's just even, for example, something that I really liked, the child actress, Madeline Yuna Voice. So she was really good.
She was great. Yeah. It's always tough when you pair an adult with a child in a film, and then if the child is shit, it really takes away from the experience. But
And then
luckily
you've
she was
got,
very good.
you've got Watanabe and Washington next to her. So it's like, that can be really tough for a child. But she really does not, she does really well in
No,
this.
she holds her ground.
Which is weird that I like the performances, but I didn't like. I don't know if that makes sense or
For
not.
me,
but
like,
I like the performances, but the characters just.
Yeah, my bigger issue with like the script and stuff is the fact that like it relied heavily on exposition. So like you have someone like Ralph Ineson, who's one of my favorite fucking actors, the best voice in Hollywood. His character is quite literally there just to explain why he needs to go on this mission and why the US hate all of New Asia. And then Ken Watanabe's character is literally there to describe why the AI hate the Americans and why it wasn't actually their fault. Like, it's that's where the problems truly lie from a script point of view, at least in my opinion.
Mhm.
But I mean, at the end of the day, I kind of like look at this as I'm happy for it to happen, because I'd much rather we get fairly middle of the road to good original sci-fi, which has ideas from other things, than we get
100%.
another fucking Marvel film.
100%. That's why I said I love what this movie stands
Yeah.
for, and I'm glad I went to watch it, and I wouldn't mind going to watch it again if I have the time, because again, visually, it's just
Yeah. Also, the Nomad, the design, just to go back to Franco, the
Yes.
most American thing I've ever seen. It looks like a giant
Yes.
eagle that can nuke anyone
Yes.
from anywhere. It's the most
The
American thing ever.
laser is so scary, man. That laser going
Oh
like
god,
scanning the ground. This is so intimidating. Like
the sound
it's so
design.
scary. This whole first scene was insane.
Yeah.
This whole first scene
I was
was
just saying,
really
a
good.
scene which actually annoyed me a bit is when he meets his friend again from like years before, and his whole thing is that he's just going to die, and in his dying breath, he's going to make like a big reveal. That was that actually
Yeah,
got one
yeah,
eye
yeah,
roll from me.
yep,
I was kind of
yep,
just like,
yep, yep.
fuck, we've done this. Like,
I think I saw it coming from miles away. It's like, okay, most probably Nirmata is
Yeah.
Maya.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
but not even that.
That
But
is
like,
very
like,
predictable.
there's
very
even
predictable.
there's a better way to like do that scene. Have them go somewhere else. He's finding the breadcrumbs, and his friend is with him. And when he's like kind of like pretty much made the discovery himself through like finding stuff, they get attacked, and the friend, as he's dying, like confirms that like yes, it was the case. That's a much better way of doing it, in my opinion, rather than having him know nothing and then his friend is dying. It's just like, yep, it was her.
So to conclude, what rating would I give it? So Franco, you gave it a 4.
4 on 5, yeah.
Joe gave it a 4. I'm between a 3 and a 3.5. Oh,
I
that's
think we
tough.
can
I give it a
conclude that Andrea is a soulless robot.
Didn't he dislike Rogue One as well?
No, I love Rogue One.
Oh, you
Rogue One is a
wait, who
No,
Rogue
dislikes Rogue
One is
One?
a 5 out of 5. Or no, it's not a 5 out of 5, but it's a
It's
5
still-
out of 5
it's
Star
not
Wars
5 out of 5.
movie. It's a
Rogue-
5 out of 5 Star Wars movie.
Ah,
Rogue
the last-
One,
the la-
One has a fantastic opening 10 minutes and a fucking phenomenal last 40, but it's got the most boring second act of possibly any movie ever made.
Yes, but I've completely forgotten the second act. So for me, the movie is just the opening.
Yes, but it's like
and the
it's like a
final
2 hour
40
and
minutes.
10-minute film. How can you forget the second act?
I know.
That's like
I completely forgot
that
what
is
happened.
the film.
No, for me, the movie is just the opening and the last 40 minutes. I have no idea what happened in the rest of the movie. But for me,
Yeah.
that is peak Star Wars. So that's why it's 5 out of 5.
It's
Star
final
Wars.
40 minutes is fucking. It's like some of the best
Yes.
Star Wars ever.
And that's why I think still having someone like Darth Vader in a movie, in a
No,
Star
but
Wars movie.
yeah, because it did it right. That I mean, to be fair, that scene is the sweeping declaration, the single best Star Wars scene ever.
I
That
agree.
scene.
I agree completely. Like that was horror Star Wars.
Yeah, because to be fair, that it's the only scene in Star Wars which made Darth Vader what he actually is meant to be, which is a brutal, unstoppable force.
Menace, yeah.
Exactly. 100%.
Dude. Speaking, sorry, I'm going back to Star Wars. They should do a horror Star Wars. That would be a good. That would be a good departure from Jedi and whatnot.
Franco,
Like-
we can't even forget about the Jedi or like any kind of like organized order. Like we have the Mandalorians that all wear masks. You think they're gonna go and do horror?
I mean, like what?
How
what
are
the-
they supposed to sell toys with horror?
I mean, imagine a Jedi with the dark side who can control, like his idea is to control blood. That would be something.
Give me
Anyway.
give me a space vampire.
True.
Space vampire.
But back onto the creator.
So to conclude, the creator, I probably give this a 3.5 out of 5. I don't think it deserves it. I think it deserves a 3, but I'll give it a 3.5 just because I love what it stands for. I mean, I can be as biased as I want to. This is our show.
No, I think you should rewatch it though. I think so much of its flaws are very forgivable, man. This movie. That's what I'm gonna say.
Maybe I didn't forgive it as much as I should have. Anyways, anything else you want to add, guys, about the creator? Or else we can conclude here.
Go watch it. Not expend foibles.
Yeah,
Yes, go watch creator.
go watch it on a big fucking screen.
Yes, please.
Definitely.
Because that was something as like extra. It pained me seeing the cinema like a smattering of people, and Anyway, but it will I think it will be divisive. It depends what kind. The thing, like, it helps for me. It helped that I went in blind. I didn't read any reviews. I saw the trailer. That's it. I saw it once. That's enough times, and thoroughly enjoyed the experience. Except for, like I said, etiquette. Please don't fucking talk while other people are watching the movie. That's what I'm gonna say.
And with that, we can end the show. Thank you so much, Ranko and Joe, as always. Thank you to our viewers and listeners. I hope you had a good time. I will be sharing this tomorrow. You can share this tomorrow, the video tomorrow now. Thank you to all our viewers and listeners. I'll release this on Spotify as well as always, so you can listen to it there.